How are we doing today? Hey, how are you doing? Okay, are you all good? You all good? Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Cinema from the Spectrum. I'm your host, Jaime Rebanal, here with my colleague as usual,
John Kirkwood.
and we are back from TIFF. Woo!
Yes.
How are you feeling, John?
I'm feeling great. I feel great. One thing to address, a bit of an elephant in the room, or I guess a visual elephant in the room, is the fact that we are now on video.
Yeah! Woo!
If you have not seen my face before, I'm deeply sorry.
Well, if you've seen my face before, I'm sorry. Well, the thing is, I was in a photo with Mark Hamill at one point, but unfortunately, I am so far off in the background, I'm practically invisible. No, you can see me if you zoom in close enough.
Honestly, you can't compete in a photo with Mark Hamill. You might as well be invisible.
That is true. That is true.
So we just got back from TIFF, and we are going to be discussing it. For the foreseeable future. There's lots to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the first edition of the Toronto International Film Festival where this is the first one where Bell has officially dropped out as a sponsor. But do you know who swooped in to take their place this year?
Is that RBC or was that?
No, it's Rogers.
Rogers. Oh yeah, Rogers was like hosting all the shows. What was the reasoning behind that?
So thing is, Bell has been in partnership with TIFF for quite a while, but I don't even know. Apparently, it's because they're downsizing. They had to drop out of the partnership with TIFF, which I still don't fully get because TIFF is still partnering very well with Crave, which is very much a Bell service. So
Yeah. So it's kind of a conflicted decision.
Very conflicted. Yeah.
Another detail about that. Is it still referred to as the Bell Lightbox?
It's no longer referred to as the Bell Lightbox. It is just the TIFF Lightbox.
TIFF Lightbox. So it's independent now. Like no significant donator.
Nothing.
Not even Rogers?
Not even Rogers, not even RBC, or not even Visa. Just TIFF Lightbox. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Roger, I guess, swooped in, and Roger's name was in front of basically every show that we saw.
Yes, indeed.
And always brought to you by Visa, and always
Brought to you by RBC.
RBC was everywhere too. Was that for specific screenings or?
RBC has been with TIFF for a very long time already, so yeah. Even though it's not exactly the best sponsor if you're considering what RBC also funds, but that's a whole other issue for another day.
Well, yeah, and well, we can talk about the day if you want. What this episode is meant to be is just us discussing the festival as a whole, being general, talking about our general experiences, and I guess also talking about a bit of the excitement and highlights that we experienced beyond the movies and the red carpets.
Oh, yeah. So, John, because this is your first year on TIFF Press, how did you feel at first? Be honest.
It was overwhelming at first. Just so many people, so many things to be part of. And I guess after the first few days, you realize everyone's pretty friendly. Everyone pretty much knows each other. And even if they don't, they're very much so open to talking, whether you're press or industry, or even the volunteers are more than happy to talk to and help you out.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic environment to be in. It was work to see that many movies, but the in-between time, spending it with people, talking and just shooting the breeze, it doesn't make it feel like work.
Honestly,
during those
that's
moments.
part of why I always really love attending the festival no matter what, because I find that when you're seeing stuff together with people that you know, especially at the P&I screenings, you always find that you're in for a really good time no matter what.
Yeah, for people that are participating in what is an inherently solitary experience, like I know that we sit in a theater together and we look at a screen together, but all our experiences are so individualistic. We all have our different takeaways from a film. So then people being willing to get together and corral and talk about how they felt about the film and their interpretations and what they like and didn't like, that's such a special thing to see people really try to force that sense of community in something that you wouldn't think would have that.
Yeah. And I remember when because it was your first year, you were also a little bit confused with the press and industry ticket package at first.
Horrifically, I have notes.
Yeah. You want to tell us all those?
Yeah. So I was confused about a few conditions.
Yes.
So while trying to secure tickets, I noticed that there are a lot of things going off sale.
Yes.
Which I interpreted as sold out. But
that does not mean sold out. It just means off sale for the time being.
Off sale for the time being. So how do we separate those terms? How do people know what those mean?
So basically, it means that when something is off sale, it means that it doesn't particularly mean you don't have a chance. It just means that the entire loadout for right now is gone. But that doesn't mean that there's another inventory that will open up in the future.
Yeah, because there's a total amount of tickets that can be sold.
Yes.
And they stagger the amount of tickets that can be sold according to whatever
According to the
membership
day and
level.
how also how close we are to the premiere too.
That too, but also there's different levels of membership.
Yes. There's contributor membership, which a friend of mine is a part of. There's also the patron circle, and then there's the ordinary membership, which both me and you have.
Yeah, which I was confused about because we had the ordinary membership
Yes.
mixed with press.
Yeah.
Which gave us a slight pre-sale advantage. I think we got access on the
Which, to be honest,
20th or
I
something.
did use. So, which to be honest, I only used the member pre-sale only so that I could sit together with friends for some of the midnight screenings. So, and it was worth it for that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I didn't realize how much of a disadvantage you still are at.
Yes.
At that membership level.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you think of the general population that doesn't have a membership.
Yeah.
They're completely screwed.
They're completely screwed by the patron circle and contributors. Yeah.
Well, because there's different tiers within contributor. There's contributor and sustainer.
Yeah.
Contributors so regular membership 120, the senior discount 99, and then if you're under 25, that's 75. Although I think there's a free version or something.
There's a free version right now which does not have the member pre-sale, but you do have access to a rush pass,
Right.
which means that if you have that, you can rush anything and you just show off that you have the pass and you're in for free.
Which I want to talk about Rushline
Yes.
later. That's a fantastic invention. I don't know. If
I love rush lining, if I'm being honest.
I don't know if that's common among theater circles, if that's unique to the TIFF experience.
It's not unique to TIFF, thankfully, because there was another theater in Toronto called The Review, which has had sold out shows in the past. But because of this, I usually join the rush lines just because even though they say sold out, there's always at least 1 to maybe 10 empty seats that I can occupy, which is always a great thing, especially for a really high in demand premiere over at the festival.
Yeah. But we'll talk more about that later. But
Yeah.
it's a fantastic inclusion.
Yes, absolutely.
So contributors at $500, you can be a contributor, which you get some pre-sale advantage. You get not only can you write off on your taxes or part of it, you also get some crazy discounts at the bar to lounge and different stuff.
Yeah.
There's a sustainer level, which is increased advantage on similar topics, and then there's a patron level, which is where it gets kind of crazy.
Yes, very crazy. I wonder who actually has the money to spend on one of those memberships, if I'm being honest.
You're already pretty much capped at your maximum benefits
Yeah.
by the time you get to patron, but it's like $2.5 grand, $7,000, and then 15 G's.
Yeah.
And you can write a lot of that off on your taxes. You get the most advanced pre-sale, like almost like a week before everyone else.
Yes.
And then you also get invitations, like personal invitations to gala presentations at the Princess of Wales.
Or at Roy Thompson.
And then at the highest level is Roy Thompson Hall.
Which is honestly one of not my favorite venue, but I've said that numerous times in the past.
I've got opinions too.
Yeah.
I think we're on the same wavelength there, but I just wanted to talk about so me talking about those different contributor levels,
Yes.
those memberships. It's just my initial confusion.
Yes.
Where it's about my initial confusion where I didn't understand how things could be off sale.
Same here.
They just came out, right? I'm a member. I'm press. This is the earliest you get.
It is just no. If you're a contributor, you get the very first you get the very first dibs on everything, and it does put some of us at a disadvantage, especially because a lot of people wanted to see The Brutalist, but they put that in the light box, which has some of the smallest. Which is some of the smallest theaters in the general vicinity, and of course, when I got my ticket, it was nearly sold out.
Yeah. I want to talk about the venues too, because this is almost going to be a theater review as well.
Yes. Okay. How would you rank the venues? That's what I want to know.
Royal Alexander Theater. Okay, so I'm going to list off all the theaters that were included.
Yes.
In this year's TIFF, which there used to be more, but now it's...
There used to be way more in the past, but now it's just condensed into this one street.
And I think I like it.
Yeah.
My rating is from Royal Alexander Theater.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, to the Lightbox, to then Princess of Wales, to then Scotiabank Theater, and then to Roy Thompson Hall.
Which I like that we all have Roy Thompson at the bottom because it's not the most ideal place to watch movies. But also because I have a lot of beefs with Roy Thompson Hall specifically because of the way they angle their seats, and also the security. The security over there is just way too uptight.
Yeah, I don't know what chip they have on their shoulder. It just I don't feel welcome there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it.
I saw 2 movies over there this year. It was Better Man and Megalopolis, but I already told you, Megalopolis is going to have its own episode.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those movies that you kind of just have to look into for yourselves in order to believe it exists. But Roy Thompson Hall, the seats are very weirdly angled, especially if you're in the second floor or the balcony, which I was in balcony for Better Man, and there was still the seat railing that was in the way by a little bit, and I found one of the corners of the screen was slightly obscured, so I had to bend on over to kind of like this so that I could just so I could get past that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't in Roy Thompson Hall this year.
But you were in there for the
thankfully.
Fablemans some time ago?
But I saw the Fablemans 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of an odd experience. You feel unwelcome in the space. I don't know. It's the time and travel from the lobby, where you get drinks and hang out and talk with other guests. It feels like you're going through rat tunnels in order to get to your seat. I don't know. It's just very... It's an alienating space.
To put it lightly, it's a space that's more meant for classic concerts than it is for movies, which is really why I think it's so weird that TIFF continues to host their biggest stuff always over there.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I think it puts its style before anything else. It is a very
pretty venue, especially from the outside. But inside when you're trying to watch a movie, it's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, it's definitely not designed for movies. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about Royal Alexander Theater, which is my top one.
Yeah,
is that your favorite? What's your favorite?
Actually, my favorite is Princess of Wales.
Okay, well, I want to hear you talk about Princess of Wales.
Okay, so Princess of Wales. The reason why I like this venue a whole lot is because, if you're seated in the orchestra at Princess of Wales, no matter how far back you are, you still get a really good view of the screen. And even then, it's the seats are arranged so in such a way where it's even if somebody in front of you is slightly obscuring the screen, it's you can. It's easy enough to peek right over them too. I think that it's also one of the most welcoming spaces in the vicinity because Princess of Wales. When I saw The Life of Chuck over there this year, I find that when you're in the orchestra, you get to see just about everybody from where you're at. Because I got pictures with Karen Gillan and Chiwetel Ejiofor. They were only a few rows ahead of me. Mm-hmm. One of my friends, his name is Brian Sudfield. I want to shout him out. He sat 2 rows in front of Mark Hamill and Stephen King, and then he posted this on Twitter. He's only at TIFF 24 you can sit 2 rows behind. You can sit 2 rows in front of Mark Hamill and Stephen King. And then Mark Hamill responded to that saying, only at TIFF 24 you can sit 2 rows behind Brian Sudfield.
That's fun. I
also sat in the dress circle there for the first time this year and also found that honestly it's arranged in such a way that, it's arranged in such a way that you still feel level with the screen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that theater also has a balcony, right?
Yes.
What's that like?
I saw Boy and the Heron from the balcony last year. It is okay. It's not as bad as you would think. I can tell you that right now. It's is it the most comfortable? Maybe not. I mean, I also saw Uncut Gems from the balcony there, and it's not the most comfortable, not the most ideal, but you don't have to bend down your neck down all the way just to see the screen.
Princess of Wales to me always seems like a version of the Royal Alex. But what you've done is you've just increased its size and its accessibility by 1.5.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a grander venue. Obviously, there are some gala screenings there.
Yes.
But I like Royal Alex just a little bit more. I guess maybe because it's a little more quaint.
Yeah. You want to talk? let's talk about Royal Alex because it's I think it's the perfect venue for Midnight Madness.
Yes, that's another reason why I love it so much. Is all the Midnight Madness screenings were featured at the Royal Alex this year. Where were they featured before?
So before Royal Alex, they were actually featured over at Ryerson University's own campus theater.
Right.
And that was like a very, very far away walk from the general vicinity.
So far from the rest of the festival,
Yeah.
it makes it feel like this dirty screening you're not supposed to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of having it at the Royal Alex. I was describing this to you and somebody else, but having it at the Royal Alex feels like such an amazing, not only celebration of the space, but also disrespect.
Yes.
At the same time, because you're using the theater for what it's meant to be used for. Crowds get excited, they're chanting, they're cheering, they're clapping, they're hollering. It's the most active audience you're going to see during TIFF.
And that's what I love about being over there too.
But some of the movies you see aren't the classical plays I'm sure they intended to be on stage. Some of them
Absolutely
are these
not.
disgusting horror movies or these really aggressively edited foreign films or even just films made by music video directors.
Yes.
So like it's just such a strange assortment of films that are being featured at Midnight Madness at the Royal Alex that I really love how the space is used.
Absolutely. And even then, it's like the way that it's arranged. Okay, if I'm being honest, I actually find I prefer the dress circle at Royal Alex to the orchestra because I find that in dress circle, it's still, one, it's very level with the screen. Two, at least at the, from what I find at Royal Alex, it's also set up in such a way where like dress circle and orchestra, you're always level no matter what.
Another thing I like about it, I do agree. I think the balcony is actually better than the orchestra. I love the balcony.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It's so steep, and everyone's packed in like sardines, and you're all looking at the screen together.
It's also steep to the point that even if somebody is in front of you, they don't block your way.
It doesn't matter, and you feel like you're part of this fun club, and you actually get to directly see the other clubs that are below. So like I don't know. There's an excitement. There's a feeling of community when I sit at the Royal Alex. Do you want to talk about the other locations? Or?
So the other locations are like the Lightbox. You and me, we're always there. We're always there. Do we need to talk about it all the time?
Well, let's talk about it.
It's a very nice space. It's got a nice little lounge so you can hang out in between movies, and also the Varda Lounge. It's also very quaint when it's not as full as it can be on most days.
The lights are seriously turned down in there.
Yeah.
It's like walking into the keg.
Exactly, yeah. And I find that over at the Lightbox, it's always a very warm, welcoming space, and it being one of the only places that in the vicinity of the festival that can play stuff on film. It's like I always have a soft spot for it. So yeah.
That's a huge part too.
Yeah.
Something else I like about the Lightbox, I think their theaters have the best sound.
Exactly, yeah.
Their
Cinema 2 is like, it has a Dolby Atmos sound, so yeah.
And even I saw one of the films I saw was like in theater 5 or something, which is or 5 or 6. It's like on a separate floor.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be a private screening room for industry members, but I somehow got into that screening.
Which one did you get into?
Well, so that was for you, the universe, and I'll talk more about that experience later. Okay. But just that theater, like even though it's a tiny theater, the seats are crazy comfortable in all of them, and also the sound is immaculate, no matter what theater you're in at the Lightbox.
All right, yeah, and then now that brings us to Scotiabank Theater, which it's just a regular Cineplex.
It's a mixed bag.
It's a very regular Cineplex. I mean, sometimes you get into some really big theaters, like you'll see a P&I screening in 1 through 4, which I think are the best places for the P&I screenings.
Yes.
Then there's also stuff in the very back where sometimes they can be really good, like Scotiabank 14 is a whole lot bigger than you would expect it to be. And then the other ones, not so much.
Yeah, there's some itty-bitty theaters, and there's some theaters that I would say are way too big.
Like the IMAX screen?
Okay, here's the thing. I love the IMAX theater, though, because it's rounded.
Yeah.
But then there's this, I forget, I think it's 2 or something like that, where it's this massive theater that just keeps going back. I don't understand how it goes that far back. But yeah, some theaters that are too big. And then there are some sound issues in some of the theaters.
Yeah,
like the subwoofer wasn't set up properly, so I feel like the bass was blasting out the left and right channel.
Yeah.
So then the speakers were buzzing during some films. Like I have notes on some films where the
Oh,
sound wasn't.
so which films had that problem?
Oh, we'll talk about that when we get to them.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some theaters where the films that are playing, the bass wasn't directed to the subwoofer, so and maybe that's a fault with the filmmaker. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like they should try to accommodate that, especially if they're going to be playing it through these massive speakers. So
Yeah.
there's some buzzy speakers in the Scotiabank.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember where I. Yeah, because I also find that the IMAX screen, I love that they still use it for the P&I screenings, especially for the most absurd ones. Because I think I told you this a few years ago. I saw women talking on the IMAX screen, and I said, and we of course we had that little warning. This film is not the IMAX experience, and then and then of course everybody booed that, which is great. So
Yeah, this is not an IMAX film. Calm down. Don't send us hate mail. We already hate that we're doing this. Yeah, I only saw one movie in the IMAX theater.
I unfortunately did not see anything there, but I would have loved to see Queer in the IMAX screen.
I told you. Do you remember what IMAX movie I saw in the IMAX theater?
Was it The End?
Which is not an IMAX movie.
It's not an IMAX movie, but it's like the following film is not the IMAX experience. Boo.
But it did feel great having it on such a massive rounded screen.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience. All the same. So I like the Scotiabank, but it's you can have a mixed experience depending on what theater you end up in.
And depending on where you're seated too, because
Yeah, absolutely. You can be stuck in those neck crane positions, and it's not forgiving.
yeah, I have a lot of things to say about where I sat for an unfinished film. I mean, you got a better seat than I did there.
Yeah, I did. Okay, let's circle back and talk a bit more about the booking process.
Yes.
Because I know we were talking about the tiers. So there's 3 websites that people need to pay attention to.
Yes.
A lot of the people, even press and industry members I talked to, were only aware of 1 or 2, which I thought was disappointing. So
Yeah.
one that you showed me very early on that a lot of people, most of the people I talked to had not heard about before was TIFFer.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about TIFFer?
TIFFer, it's my favorite place to. Ever since I first heard about it, I've been using it to make my schedule for everything that I really want to for everything that I really want to see during the festival.
Yeah.
And it's very useful because you can see how one screening can possibly bleed into the next, and also you also get an idea of how much distance you have between venues. Yeah.
It's just fantastic for building your TIFF schedule. It's not for getting tickets. It's not for reserving anything. It just lets you plot everything out, making sure you get all the P&I screenings you can if you're press or industry.
And not only that, but if you're seated if you're using TIFFer and you send the schedule to a friend, it's like you get an idea. You also say, "Oh, you are going to this." Yeah.
You can export your schedule too, which is just phenomenal. And another great thing is just being able to search for movies, get a brief description, and then add it to your schedule.
Add it based on your interest in it.
And get the specific theater location without having to bounce between different theater sites or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really great.
If you're somebody listening to this that was press or industry or even just a regular moviegoer,
use TIFFer because it'll make your festival going experience so much easier.
Yeah, my only criticism, and this is it's just a result of what the site does, is that when you create a short list, which is movies you want to see, it'll pop up on your schedule whether you reserve the spot or not. And the only problem with that is that it does kind of pigeonhole you and close off your view to the rest of the movies that are screening.
Also on your short list.
well, movies that aren't on your short list. So you'll kind of look at your day and be like, oh, well, there's nothing else playing. Well, no, there is. You just need to remember that you're only seeing what you chose you wanted to see.
Yeah. What's the other site that you
okay, there's regular Ticketmaster.
Yes.
Which is what it is.
It's Ticketmaster. It's as nightmarish as you can expect it to be.
You're familiar with it. And
we don't need to rant about Ticketmaster again, do we?
No, we don't. And then there's the Ticketmaster 4 site.
Yeah.
Which was for
Ticketmaster TIFF 4. So yeah.
TIFF 4.
Yeah.
Which is for press and industry.
Yes.
Which is where you get to use your vouchers. So we got 10 vouchers each.
Yeah.
And also where you're able to redeem same-day tickets.
You get 10 vouchers each, but also the way it works for press and industry members is that when we have with our 10 vouchers, we also have separate windows for when we can start redeeming ours. The window that I got, it's like they're always on the same day, but the window that I got was at 4 p.m. John, you didn't really figure this out until I showed it to you. I was trying to reach out to you, but the window that you got was 12 p.m., which is a much better window than I got.
Yeah, mine was at noon. So they give.
And I should also mention this. One of my best friends, you know what window he got?
What do you get?
He got 10 a.m.
You got 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
That's good. But here's the thing too, is that you can pop into the site and go to get your tickets, and they might already be off sale because the group before will have scooped up a majority of tickets.
Yes.
Which is tough. But thankfully there is that cure to people buying up all the tickets and then putting them for resale.
Yes.
Which was kind of disgusting to see. And that is rush lines, which are great. Yeah.
The one thing I will also say about TIFF 4 is like when you even if a movie says it's supposedly off sale, you can still kind of use one of your vouchers to get right into a screening that you really want, just based on availability from there. Because industry people have their own separate inventory of tickets, and we love using up all of ours when we can. And not only that, more people would be paying like scalped prices for one ticket. We get ours for free,
which is a great feature. Yeah. And you gave me the recommendation of book a handful of the regular screening movies that I want, and then leave myself a couple vouchers in case, which is a great recommendation because I ended up using everything near the end of the festival.
Well, the thing is, they also require you to use all your vouchers anyway. So
oh yeah, that too. In order to use any of them.
Yeah.
There's one other thing I wanted to talk about with that. Okay, so if you're someone that is using your same day or trying to redeem same day tickets, you might be confused why something says off sale throughout the day, that there's nothing available.
Yeah.
What I found was for some venues like Royal Alex or I guess it would apply for Princess of Wales and also Roy Thompson.
Yeah.
But there are certain seats that are obstructed view.
Yes.
And those are not available on the regular site when you try to book. So if you walk up to the box office for Industry and Press or even the regular box office, they'll be able to offer you the tickets there.
Yeah.
Whereas they won't be available online. So if you're ever confused, why are there no seats for this? Well, probably a lot of them are sectioned off and only sold in person because they want to explain to you, by the way, this isn't a great seat.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was in Royal Alex in 2022, I saw No Bears at a very, very bad seat. I was in seat A 30-something of the dress circle. Entire left side of the screen was cut off for me. And then, but the volunteers were like, okay, you know what? If you want to move because this is an obstructed seat, you're more than free to do so because we gave you one of these seats we gave you one of these seats when they should have been blocked off, but you know what? We'll allow you to move closer to the center if it doesn't fill up. So yeah, and it didn't. So yeah.
And that's such a strength of TIFF is the combination of the formal and informal booking and seating system.
Yeah.
So it's all formal until 15 minutes to the screening, in which case all ticket seat numbers and stuff like that, that's out the window. It doesn't matter.
It goes to
anymore.
rush liners, and it's general admission from that point on.
It's general admission. So the cool thing is that if you've sat yourself in a seat and it's 15 minutes prior to, well, guess what? If you don't like your seat and you see a free seat somewhere else, go sit in that seat. You got time.
Yeah.
The 15 minutes prior to the showing, seat numbers do not matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. You can fill out the theater properly and not have people give their money to resellers.
Yeah, because some suckers. Some people apparently paid some people were apparently trying to resell cloud tickets for like $295 in the light box. And they were in row I want to say row C 2, 3, 4, and it's in Cinema 2, mind you. So it's not so you'll be right at the very side and you're in the front section there.
That's so silly.
Yeah.
So all these theaters, they're all nice and close together, which is great.
Yeah.
The only one that is, I guess, a slight trek is Scotiabank, but it's only 2 blocks.
It's only 2 blocks, and even then, it's not too far. It's not too far away compared to.
Yeah, so I really love how central everything feels because they used to show films at
Elgin and Winter Garden and over at the Ryerson Theater, now known as the TMU Theater.
Yeah, it's TMU or something.
Yeah.
But so things used to be a little more spread out.
Yeah.
You might have to take the subway to get between places, but I love how everything is just kind of on the same strip, and they take advantage of that because they actually close off the street. And they do that for what,
Just the first weekend, yeah.
first weekend. So it's only 2 days.
So actually, it's all from Thursday up until Sunday.
What is that, 3-4 days?
Yeah, 4 days.
Okay, 4 days. So I like that it's closed off for 4 days. It's great. There's lots of food vendors, some street events, lots of attractions. There was a vegan food truck that always had a line up to it.
Yes.
Like going all the way down the street. Just people could not get enough of their not burgers. And I guess the reopening of the streets when cars are able to drive through it and streetcars. That's kind of the beginning and the end for the festival in terms of atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Things start to kind of quiet as the week goes on. But there's still lots of great restaurants in the area.
Yeah.
There's a great park behind Roy Thompson that's occasionally open. And
They show movies there too, which is great.
that's the next thing we're talking about. I can't wait to talk about that. So they have this thing that they do during the festival where it's like a movie is in the park. So they're showing these movies, projecting onto this big screen behind Roy Thompson.
Yeah.
This should be year round.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know if it should only be a weekend thing, but
Yeah.
there's something so cool about having movies
Like
in the park.
when I was there in covering the red carpet for Giswidos, they were playing Ghostbusters in the back. When I was outside of Royal Alex for the Substance, I saw they were playing Ghost with Demi Moore over there because of course Demi Moore was in town, which is great.
So they're having these like kind of fun jokes
Yeah.
by playing these movies on the screen, and it's great. And I think it could be such a great sense of community to be drawn from.
And
having
the
that.
best part is that they're all free.
It's all free, and you could find a way to monetize it. Like maybe have like some food vendors that
Yeah.
operate a bit later. You can make it fun. Have people sell popcorn.
Closing night, because Rebel Wilson was in town, they were playing Pitch Perfect over on that screen too.
That was a loud screening.
Yeah, very, very loud. At the point that I thought that the audio would bleed into our interviews under the carpet, but thankfully it did not. So yeah.
Yeah. So I really like the idea of having the movie screenings behind Roy Thompson. And I think it would be a great way to keep Roy Thompson connected to film, even though they only participate in film like once a year during this festival.
Oh yeah. And sometimes they do have the live orchestra thing, but it's mostly, but at the same time, it's mostly a gimmick there. Yeah.
There's a sidestep style of membership that I was not aware of at all.
Which one was
I
that?
had not heard of it, but I saw a lot of people having the armbands for this.
Oh, for the fan zones.
This was a fan zone.
Oh gosh, and we had a friend who was in there 2 times. One was for Andrew Garfield, and the second time was for Selena Gomez.
I did spot Selena Gomez. She was coming out of an SUV
Yeah,
behind
the Princess of Wales.
behind the Starbucks.
Oh, wow.
Like across from the light box.
Oh, that place.
So like I was on my way to the Scotiabank Theater, and then I saw this people screaming. I'm like, what's going on? And then it's Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
I'm going to show the video on screen right now, but it looks like a scene out of The Walking Dead. Different clientele compared to the rest of the film goers.
Oh my gosh, I've only done it just once, and it was for Steven Spielberg.
Oh, you did it before?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get a picture with Steven Spielberg though, but I got one with Paul Dano, so I'll take that.
Nice.
Tried to get Seth Rogen that night too, but
Was it a good experience? Like, do you think you got a serious advantage to meet celebrities?
yes and no. It depends on how late they come in. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes over at Princess of Wales and Roy Thompson Hall, the celebrities come really, really late to the red carpet.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're seeing them for red carpet events, right?
Yeah.
So they are also beholden to journalists, like press and industry like us. So they have to meet us, and they also have to meet the fans before they come and do
Yeah.
their photo shoots.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you get to see them, but it's always on a tight schedule. It's
Very,
never
very tight, yeah.
It's never just to see the fans.
Tom Hiddleston came super late this year, so he only did like what the group photo with the cast for Life of Chuck, and did not even talk with fans, unfortunately. And he didn't even walk the carpet either.
That's hysterical.
Oh my goodness! I was in the fan zone trying to get a picture with Julianne Moore this year. The autograph hounds, they're also like a different breed of monster right there. So there's people who really want celebrity selfies, which is one thing. And those are the easy. I find that those are really, really easy to get if you're at the right spot at the right time. Because when I got one with Mikey Madison this year, right outside the Royal Alex after Anora premiered.
Yes.
And I also got one with Sean Baker, who was very nice. Because the thing is, when I tried to get the picture with Sean Baker, he was like, "Okay, you know what? Your phone's a little too close. How about I take the picture instead?" Which I thought that was cool. Because
It's cool. He's like, I'll take the photo. I got these long arms.
Yeah. And then again, it's like we've seen the guy on the carpet. He's pretty tall too. Yeah.
He's a tall dude. So the only celebrity sighting I had was Selena Gomez coming out of an SUV in an alley, which feels creepy. But well, what celebrity sightings did you have? Did you have anything fun that like wasn't attached to immediately after premiere? Like you saw them in the wild.
Okay, so I actually saw Jingle Wang at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
We interviewed her like the night after. So, yeah.
And she's just hanging out in a Starbucks.
Yeah. I didn't even realize it was her. So yeah.
Oh, I lied. The other celebrity sighting I had was the director and team for It Doesn't Get Better Than This.
Oh yeah.
I saw them in the lobby of the Hyatt.
Oh
hotel.
yeah.
So
It's like they were being interviewed right behind me.
So I had the opportunity to talk to them for a while, and they're such warm people.
They're really, really nice.
They do great work.
Okay, here's another one that a friend of mine saw. Right outside the Hyatt, after the night the Giswidos premiered, the cast were all smoking cigarettes.
Oh yeah, they all came out after the screening. Yeah, that was attached to a movie, but
no, this was the day. This is the morning after.
The morning after, they're just chilling outside.
Yeah, they're chilling outside the Hyatt.
Outside the Hyatt. Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. I just love that they just. It's so fun seeing celebrities not attached to some kind of event that they're just kind of chilling, and you realize, oh yeah, they're just regular people that get overpriced coffee.
Who else did I see? Just by pure coincidence, I did see Johnny Knoxville, but that was also attached to a premiere.
Oh, okay, but you just saw him wandering the light box.
I just saw him wandering the light box after he left from the introduction for his own movie. Got a picture with him and was like, you know what, I want to.
Nice.
Who else did I? I'm trying to think who else major did I see wandering the streets? Because I've had quite a few of these encounters since my very first year as TIFF press. Because in my first year, I saw Elizabeth Moss just running from one venue to the other, and she couldn't even stop for a picture with anybody because she was late for a movie. Yeah.
I like to think it's because she was mean.
Yeah. Who else? I saw Max Minghella on the streets, but I didn't want to bother him because he was being interviewed by Adam Naiman. So
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. I could have talked with Adam Naiman too, but because Adam Naiman, if you don't know who the guy is, he's a prof over at U of T. He wrote books on the Coen brothers. He's written one on Paul Thomas Anderson and one on David Fincher. They're all really, really great reads, by the way. So,
Okay.
If you've seen him at one movie, you'll probably see him at a lot of things. That's all I could tell you, because he was at our screening of Happy End, but you didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him.
Next time you're at the Lightbox and he's around, I'll point you to him. So yeah.
All right, sure. That'd be helpful. Okay, so I think we both had a pretty generally positive experience. Would you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course, every year it's always a great opportunity to run into old friends who are also press members, and I got to introduce you to a few of them too. Like, I want to shout out Nadia, who we only met for the first time in person just last year. You only met her for the first time just this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another friend of mine from Alberta. Her name is Sarah Clements. So we've been friends since I want to say around 2017, around 2017. But she only came to Toronto for the first time just this year for this.
Well, I'm just happy she made it.
Yeah, and I hope to see her again. I do hope to see her again in the future. Another one I want to shout. Another guy, of course, I talked about him earlier because he got the interaction with Mark Hamill on Twitter. Brian Sudfield, who only came to TIFF for the first time just last year, and he's Brian. If you're if you guys don't follow Brian on Twitter, change that right now. He's like one of the best people you'll ever interact with there.
Yeah, lots of warm people. What changes would you want made to TIFF next year, even if it's a tall order? What changes would you like made?
So one thing I want to say is rush lines. I love the way that they're working.
Yeah.
One thing I want is that they don't let people in like as the movie's about to start. Just try to let them in a little bit earlier because because if you let them in when the movie's about to start, it becomes very disruptive.
They do need to adhere better to the 15-minute
Yeah.
principle.
Yes.
They need to be moving 15 minutes before,
Yes.
not like we're just going to get you ready to go, and then 5 minutes before you're getting, led down the stairs, and then by the time you get to your seat, it's already
Yeah.
like the trailers.
Yeah, so basically what happened in 2019, I don't know if you ever heard about this, but no rushliners got into Parasite.
Yeah.
But apparently they oversold tickets for that one.
It's their standing room.
So there was almost no standing room. So people were compensated by tickets to future screenings. So,
Bah.
yeah.
It's no good.
And of course they kept adding screenings to that, but guess what? Within seconds they were sold out. This almost happened with Anora just this year, by the way.
It almost like sold more tickets than it could.
So but the premiere, the entire rush line got in.
Okay.
At Scotiabank, on the other hand, it was in Scotiabank. I want to say Scotiabank 2 or 3, one of the bigger ones there. Only 7 people from Rush got in.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of them was a friend of mine. And one of them was a friend of mine who I saved a spot in Rush Line for, and I'm really feeling good about that because at the very end it turned out to be his favorite movie of the festival. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thankfully Sean and Mikey were still there, but the Russian guys were already gone.
Yeah. A change I would want made for next year, but this is a tall order I know is never going to happen. Resolve the Ticketmaster problem.
Yes. I want to say, even if it means you have to ditch Ticketmaster entirely, we need to.
It's such a huge problem, but I don't know if you can even legally sell tickets to stuff without Ticketmaster online.
Yeah.
Like, I guess in person, maybe. I think you can do it with your own system, but online, I don't know if they have some kind of, I don't want to use the M word, but they're the only ones that are allowed to operate it or something. I don't know. Like, do you know the system?
I've fought with it so many times.
Okay.
So I think I've told you about this. Like, getting a ticket for The Substance at the midnight premiere, I was fighting tooth and nail just for one ticket for that one.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was I saved at least 1 or 2 vouchers from when I redeemed my press package because I didn't want to use them all on the same type of movies. Mm-hmm. And I tried to save one of them for The Substance, and what happened was obviously what happened was I got this little warning from Ticketmaster where it's like, your session has been suspended. Your active browsing activity made us think you were a bot. I'm like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, it's just, it's wildly uncomfortable to deal with.
And I had to, here's the thing. It's like, I feel really bad for the staff members at the festival who are getting a lot of angry emails from customers who are just trying to work around Ticketmaster like this. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, like, I had to compromise so many times just to get one ticket because I had to use several different wireless networks just to even get one. One of them was whether it be from my home, from my phone's data, even from here at the Sheridan campus. And even one at a Starbucks near Square One.
Yeah.
You want to know where I had the most success?
Where?
Over here at the Sheridan campus. And what do you know? Okay, so I checked it. I decided, you know what? I'll check in again to see if there's one ticket for The Substance left. And what do you know? I logged in at the perfect time. There was exactly one left.
Nice.
Exactly one left, and I hopped right onto it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ticketmaster.
Everyone's not a big fan of Ticketmaster.
I also don't understand the resale system. That just seems open to exploitation. I don't know why you'd have that.
There were people who. So basically, what happened is over at the premiere for The Substance, I saw tickets being resold for as much as 200 something, and I was like, "Come on, dude."
I don't know why it works like that. Wouldn't you just return the ticket, you get your money back, and then the ticket goes up for sale?
I know someone who unfortunately had to buy a ticket for Honora at Scotiabank, mind you, for $200 something, and I'm like, I think you just got scalped, dude.
Yeah, it seems open to scalping.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like it is. And I know that Rush Line is a cure for that, but we have to remember that not everyone lives in Toronto.
Yeah.
Not everyone is going to rush down to Toronto for the chance
Yeah.
to buy a movie ticket, not even get it for free.
Yeah. I know somebody who rushed Stop Making Sense since 10 a.m. for a 7 p.m. screening. He waited out there for that long and he got in.
He did get in.
He did get in, thankfully. Yeah.
But once again, like the value that you're spending is time, even if it's not money. So it's like the scalpers win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why that's part of Ticketmaster. I know it's not going to be solved anytime soon, but it's just a disappointing part of the experience that seems to be inevitable. It's always going to be this way.
I think that TIFF needs to. TIFF needs to find another means of combating this because, of course, when you have the tiered membership systems, like people are going to be exploiting that so that they can scalp tickets.
Something else I kind of want changed is the street opening up.
Yes.
Because it does change the atmosphere of TIFF. So if they're going to open up the street and make it so that way now it's just a regular road again, which kind of loses that vibrance and that sense of community and strolling the street and that life.
Would you say you want it closed off for the entire festival?
Well, you can either close off for the entire festival or you need something else to replace it. You need something else that's going to bind people and also keep up the enthusiasm.
Yes.
Because that's such a huge thing is having the TIFF signs up, having all the trucks and having all the different media companies and sponsors. And then, opening that up and then all of a sudden all those tents and everything are gone.
Yeah.
You like emotionally you feel like it's over or it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
So then the festival is almost like a bit of a drag at the end. It doesn't end with a bang. It's like a whimper every year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that there needs to be something more spontaneous, especially for closing night.
Or a reason to be there on the last day.
Yeah,
something
like even when even on the very last day when all the premieres are all not going to be happening anymore, but like the award ceremony is there. It's like we need to make it more spontaneous. It's like we have to put up something that says thank you all for attending. See you next year or something like that.
Oh, yeah, or get crazy, do fireworks.
Yeah,
something. Yeah. Just because it feels like there's a sense of event at the beginning of the festival. And then the latter half is a bit more hollow.
Yeah.
And this is more of a change for myself, but I would do bookings for accommodations way in advance.
Yes, I mean it was like we were trying to we booked our Airbnb very very last minute.
The day before.
Yeah. And we were very lucky we even got it in the first place, especially because we already had tickets for the midnight movies. So yeah,
exactly. And also finding something to accommodate more people, like something like having 6 people crash in one place or something like that.
I think that might also be really helpful, especially at the Hyatt, because I think the Hyatt has a lot of those.
It's wildly expensive though. But the other thing is just make the reality of whatever space that you sleep at is you crash there. You're not relaxing. You're not cooking food. You are sleeping there and you're running out to go watch movies.
I crashed at a friend's place after The Substance, and I felt that really saved me for the whole day. I did the same thing for It Doesn't Get Any Better Than This, and thankfully for The Shadow Strays, because that was on the very last day, I knew somebody who also drove all the way from Mississauga, so I got a ride from them.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's honestly, I feel like it's impossible to commute effectively, especially if you're seeing Midnight Madness.
Oh god, especially then, because the subway stops running past 2 a.m. Oh, but here's one more thing we should also note. The reason is because, of course, after all these movies, there's a Q&A with the cast and crew. We all want to stay for that.
Everyone wants to stay for it.
Yeah. Like, we all stayed for Paul Rudd because, of course, everybody wants to stay for Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I stayed for Demi Moore because who doesn't want to stay for Demi Moore?
I also don't know why a city that has people that work at night and stuff like that, why it wouldn't be on some form of 24-hour schedule.
Yeah.
Even if it's just minimal, like maybe there's only one subway train an hour.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, buses stop around 3 a.m. and then trains stop around midnight, I think, or a little after midnight.
A little after midnight, yeah.
So if you're trying to get go train, go bus, or anything out of the city or around the city.
I mean, thankfully, our Airbnb was like, a block away from Scotiabank Arena, which is so closely tied to Union Station anyway, so yeah.
It was great. But yeah, just disappointing. If you're trying to commute and you're doing Midnight Madness, it's kind of impossible.
Yeah. There's one more thing I did want to say is that I'm really glad that they moved the Midnight Madness venue to Royal Alex because it makes it so much easier if you're walking from especially from where you're sleeping to the next venue. And what else did I want to say? I'm trying to think what else that I have to say about that because honestly, I think that here's one more thing I want. Midnight Madness, I think should go back to being general admission.
What is it right now?
It's assigned seating. But I think it should go back to general admission because, of course, for Midnight Madness, you want to be with your friends for that one, right?
I think it's fine how it is because they have the 15-minute shuffle.
That's also true, yeah.
It's I think assigned seating's fine.
Yeah.
At least if you're somewhere where it's like I physically cannot get up to the balcony, I would like to book a seat in the orchestra.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. Here's one thing I want them to bring back. So I told you to expect beach balls at future Midnight Madness screenings because they used to do that.
Oh yeah, there were none.
There were none, and so they had beach balls for the substance, but for some reason they stopped with that.
And I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe make a note for next year. You stay for the very first Midnight Madness screening, so
in case the beach balls are only there for the first. Okay.
Because they used to throw beach balls around the theater before Peter throws the hat. So yeah. And how many times has he landed the hat when...
I think he got it every night.
Almost every night?
No, I think he got it every night. Not on the first throw, but he got it every night.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever gave up.
Yeah.
But okay, so we'll talk about Midnight Madness another episode.
Yeah.
I had a very positive experience at TIFF. Obviously, I had some feedback and some things I wanted people to know about in case they decide to go.
At the very end, you'll still say you'll do it again, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll do it again. But I do feel much more informed after this first experience diving all the way in.
Yeah. And hopefully by then it's like you'll also get to spend some more time with some of my own friends who come every now and then. So
yeah. It's a cool community that's gathered around this event.
Yeah. Anybody from the press line that you also want to shout out that you met there? You can say just their first names if you want.
No, they can be my friends. They don't have to be everyone else's.
Okay, true. But I mean, it's like some of my friends, like everybody knows who they are. It's like, you know what? I'll shout them right now. I'll shout them out now, right? Because just as their names come to my mind. Okay, Lexi, Ezra, Brian, Sarah, Larry, Bode, Con, Shaq. All of you guys are amazing. If there's somebody else I've forgotten right now. Oh yeah, Samantha. Yeah, all of you right now. All of you, you're great. If you are listening to this, I don't know if you are. You've all made TIFF so much better. Heard this, and Sean too. Yeah. One more thing I did want to say about my festival experience and why it was very positive turnaround for me, especially is because I find that when you have this community, especially even with the present industry people, it just makes everything so. It also just makes the whole vibe so much more fun, especially when you're all at different screenings all the time. Yeah. So on our first day we saw some really great movies just in general, and then we're also just gonna be continuing on with that in the near future, which I'm really happy about. So.
Yeah, we got to see some pretty great films, and we'll dive into those individually over the next few episodes.
Yes, here we go.
So thank you all for tuning into our
TIFF recap.
Yeah, like our TIFF recap, our festival-wide kind of review experience, and we'll be getting a bit more specific as we go on.
Yeah, and John, one more thing. So, as for your first year as a press member, how are you feeling about future years?
I'm feeling fairly positive. There's obviously always room for improvement, but that's good. I wouldn't want to show up to an absolutely perfect event.
Yeah.
It's nice to see things grow as you grow.
Absolutely. for me, it's like I'm a somewhat of a veteran at this. I don't know if I don't know how it feels. I'll just say it always just feels amazing no matter what. And I'm really happy that this year it's just been as great a time, even if the quality of the films are not always consistent. You're here just for the vibe, you know. All right, and like that, I'm Jamie Rebanal.
I'm John Kirkwood.
We're signing off. See you soon.